Okay, so I actually don't need to really see. I'm just getting started with this movie. I haven't even gotten very far into it, but I definitely see like uh, I understand the story that's being told here, and it's very interesting. So basically, there are these. It starts with interpersonal relationships. Now, when you are a child and you're growing, you're trying to find yourself. You're trying to like identify who you are, what your preferences are. This is why there's a lot of people who are making content about personality types, INTJ. I'll put some of those videos in the description box. There's one content creator I follow that's like his entire channel is based on like personality types, right? Now, for some reason, a lot of people have been assigning personality types and racializing them. All black women are ghetto. All white women are prudent. All Hispanic women are saucy or something. You know what I'm saying? Like they think that the way that you look has to do with your personality type because Americans are stupid. I don't. There's not really another way to say it. There's a real thing about like class differences, right? But I feel like if you've been in just any space amongst semi educated people, you will quickly understand everybody has a different personality type, the way that people communicate and interact. Just it's very dependent on who they are as a person. That is very difficult for some people to understand, especially like because they wonder like how is it in my entire life I've gone and I've never met a person who's like this, but I am like this. It's like the white people who believe in like white mediocrity and they think that they're so smart and they're so great and that they have all of these things because they are smart and great without realizing that there's a lot of people who are like smarter and greater than them, but they don't have opportunities simply because of social, like economics, nepotism, power dynamic, just a bunch of shit that has allowed them to have access and privilege where other people haven't had it. Now, I think a really good example of this is Gianna's video on what was it called? It was like the social it was like public policy social something. It was a really good video where she was basically explaining how like how is it that all these people are studying poverty but then like nobody ever escapes poverty. Facts. And like or all of these people are working on like social justice and it's usually if you actually follow this all the students who go study like liberal arts, they'll always go work in something that has to do with like making society better. So like they'll have spent, I don't know, $200,000 on an education that's about understanding all these societal issues. So they've had the privilege to like sit in a classroom and then kind of explore these societal issues. And they typically go work for like nonprofits that then try to fix these issues. This is kind of the joke that Issa was making in Awkward Black Girl. Remember when she went to go work for that nonprofit and then she had like that white boss and there was all these skits, right? About these weird ass interactions that she had with the white boss who was like trying to work towards social justice. It's weird when you really think about it. Like American poverty is definitely it's complex, it's racialized. It's also just it's really fucked up. It's really fucked up. Um anyway, so let's go back to this film though. So you basically have these two adolescent black girls and I would say they're extreme introverts, but they are also suffering from being bullied. So they're being bullied because they're female, they're being bullied because they're black. And a thing about like I think it's something that's just like inherently like natural as in like females are not as like aggressive or violent and when you feel attacked you kind of like typically repress your feelings like you turn all of your anger and sorrow inward which if enough stress is placed on that will turn to silence. That's what we actually see in this film and we don't really I haven't actually seen any other content that is unpacking uh, that occurrence. Like it definitely happens. Like I've seen it happen, and I guess like I personally am familiar with watching it happen, so I also know what it looks like. But I haven't seen anyone else making content about like explicitly saying like, "Oh, this is what happened." this is what it means for this to happen. This is happening. Do you know what I'm saying? So that is weird. But man, like, I think some things that are coming up so far are like the parents here. So it sounds like the two girls' parents are from Barbados and they had an opportunity to come to America. So there's this immigration story, and they have a strong belief in education and how education is so important. And this is like a narrative that's continuously being pushed, but nobody really talks about like what happens when you're like pushed to integrate into this environment that is kind of like extremely racialized. So like we don't have any examples of positive functional interracial relationships that have to do with equity, like where the other students who go there realize that everyone who's there is there on their own merit, and like you should just respect your classmates because they are members of your society. I think that the clip that I inserted in the last video does a good job of explaining this, where Malcolm X's teacher gets up and he's like, you're a nothing, like you. We could, I mean, actually we could watch this clip together. Let's hold on, let me grab it. It's just kind of weird to like to see it and to like hear all of it. So it's like a 2-minute clip, but like so much happens in the clip, and I wonder why, her husband was murdered. Society seems to say they care about mothers, just not black mothers, clearly. Sometimes I think Mrs. Little candor is the only kindness. All of your children are delinquent, and one at least, Malcolm, is a thief. Get out of here. Your control over your children is therefore non-existent. Did you hear me? Wow. You will regret this. If you don't move out through that door, you're going to be past regretting. We were parceled out. Parceled out. I truly believe that if ever a state agency destroyed a family, it destroyed ours. It destroys all black families. It's pretty awful. This woman's house. And I know you'll keep it clean. Miss Swirlin. Boys, this is Malcolm, our new guest. We'll treat him like a brother. Father's reading the newspaper. I was special. What they're reading. The only colored kid in the class. The only colored kid in the class, like a mascot, like a big poodle. Normalizing being called a nigger. They think he's a horse. He's invisible. These themes aren't changing. This is what the point that I'm trying to make. He gets the best grades. Think about something that you can be. You're good with your hands. Making things. I would give you work. Why don't you become a carpenter? That's a good profession for a colored. That's a good profession for a colored. Wasn't your pa a carpenter? Jesus was a carpenter. Jesus! Remember what we said. Nothing succeeds like success. Let me hear it. Succeed like success. Right. It's not the end of the world, Malcolm. I said, don't. There she is. Look at the mother. It wasn't the end of the world for me, but it was the beginning of the end for my mother. I don't know, like that might be the most powerful piece of cinema that I personally have ever seen. It just like damn, like so much happened in that That's 2 minutes, but if we're talking about society and how shitty society is, I feel like it pretty much sums up a lot of the issues that are still present in modern day America. And I feel like a lot of the media and the content is trying to promote this like foster family, like racial inclusion, integration, all of these like fucking weird themes. You can't just brush over like the trauma that black women specifically have gone through, the black family has gone through. Man, black men are still going through. Just there's a lot of societal issues. Like society is not really in this like okay place. I think I made another video about this that was called like sociology as a major. It's like a real major of study. And I think even as I think more and more about something that I personally might want to study, kind of like the sociology of uh like it's like African American history, like the sociology of African American women. That is kind of like this like sub study that I would like to understand, like why the meta question here is like why is the mental health of black women so poor in America, and like why are black women specifically under so much pressure and stress? What are the like historical events that have like led to that, and how can black women thrive in the world autonomously? I don't think that family units are the solution for the problem. I think that a separation from black men is critical right now. Um, I think that there's just been too much damage done and not enough reparative justice, reparative action to allow for black women to heal. And just too many black women are just too broken. Um, and that's a real problem. Like many black women are not yet at a space where they could be women. Um, and I mean, if you want to have the problem is time, right? Like it would probably take maybe 10 or 15 years for some, black women to grow and heal and process, do all these things, but like they can't simultaneously like raise children and be wives and do all of these things and heal at the same time. It's like one or the other. Now, it's like the chicken and the egg problem, because now if black women heal, they can be really good contributors to society, like Bell Hooks or someone like that, or Octavia E. Butler, right? But like they're making all these works and these things that are contributing very positively to society. But if they don't heal and they simply become mothers, but like ineffective mothers and almost like harmful mothers, that's not really a good thing for anyone. Um, so I don't know. Like I think starting by like not making the problem worse, like that's a really good start. Like don't make the problem worse. Like let's start there. So we definitely know that black women need to heal. This is like one space. I feel like Alicia's channel is another good space, but like we could start there.